What's up, YouTube? Ride along with us as we overland to the Smoky Mountain Overland Rally. The Smoky Mountain Overland Rally is a 3-day event that's held in Cosby, Tennessee. We decided to make this a 5-day trip as we left early on Wednesday morning towards eastern Tennessee. We got off-road just outside of Erwin, Tennessee in the Unaka Mountain Wilderness area. This is a wildlife viewing loop that recommends high clearance vehicles, although we found it to be either paved or good gravel. The views from this mountain road was very pretty, along with remnants of old mountain homesteads. We left the Cherokee National Forest at Indian Grave Gap and made our way toward Pisgah. While we made our way through rural North Carolina, we didn't find a whole lot of dirt roads, but we did find some pretty cool sights along the way. Just outside the community of Sioux, we found an open gate to a Forest Service road. We thought this was going to be the beginning of really good things. But this time it was getting close to lunch. We found a nice place to pull off and had a really good salad. After lunch, it was back on the trail, only to find our first locked gate of the trip. And just when it's about to get good. After backtracking, it was time to get back on the blacktop for another section. Even though we're not on dirt, there were still some pretty cool rock formations and creeks. But this time we had made it to the Rocky Fork State Park, and it was time to check in on Mike and Lora, who was planning on meeting us later this evening.
Hello.
Hey, what are you doing?
We're driving.
All right, well, I just sent you a coordinate to a campground. We try not to make a habit of staying at established campgrounds, but since Mike and Lora was coming from so far away and it was going to be near dark by the time they got there, we thought that would be the best move. When we got to the campground, it was actually closed, but the camp host that was setting up told us about a dispersed campsite that he thought might be available on up past the campground. While the trail was looking better and better, it did start to present with a couple of problems. The first one is we were running out of cell service. We weren't sure if we would be able to send Mike and Lora our updated coordinates so that they would be able to find us. With a trail as good as this one was, we were really hoping to find a campsite just as epic. And just when we thought we had found an awesome campsite, it was completely surrounded by no trespassing, do not enter, and surveillance camera signage, along with cable gates. After looking around here for a few minutes and just generally not having a good feeling about it, it was time to come out of there and try to find something else. Running out of dispersed options, we did stumble across the Pebble Mountain Campground. The people were very nice, and it was pretty easy to set up, and Mike and Lora was able to find us without any issues. The next morning we packed up pretty quick in anticipation of a day with a lot more gravel and dirt. That's much better. After making our way across Painting Mountain, we found ourselves along the French Broad River on our way to Hot Springs. The last time we were in Hot Springs was the height of the pandemic. With things being a little bit more relaxed now, we decided to stop and have lunch. After an amazing lunch by the creek, we found ourselves on a Forest Service road where the Forest Service was actually doing some maintenance. Over the last few trips, we have seen quite a few Forest Service workers either picking up garbage or doing maintenance along the roads. We all need to remember to do our part as well, and that's tread lightly and pack out what you pack in. Next, it was on to the Wolf Creek Falls. The trail getting to the falls was a lot of fun, and a high clearance rig is definitely needed to get down to here. As strange as it is, once you get down past the road, it turns out into a really nice gravel parking lot. This would have been a perfect place to stay overnight had it not been the middle of the day. And just a short walk from the parking area were the falls. After spending a little bit of time at the falls, it was time to make our way back out. Just after leaving the falls, we ran across another maintenance crew taking care of the Forest Service road.
I don't know if you could call that rock crawling or not back there.
Definitely need a high clearance vehicle.
You know what I mean?
They've been already on. By this time we were on Max Patch Road and on our way to the famous Hurricane Creek. Well, Deb and I have already been on Hurricane Creek and it was a huge amount of fun. Mike and Lora had never been here and was really wanting to take it on. Not only is Hurricane Creek a really cool trail, there's a lot of things to see along the trail, just like this rock wall. This trail presents several different challenges. You can see them all in the video that we done a few months ago. Near the end of Hurricane Creek, close to I-40, there's a really incredible campsite. We decided to set up there for the night before we made our way on in to the s'more tomorrow. After we got camp set up, Deb started making trail burgers. You'll be able to see more details about these on an upcoming episode for Overlanding Meals. Mike got us a fire built up in the new Life Do portable campfire. We're going to set the burgers on there tonight to see how it works.
And we have a full meal inside the foil ready to go on a plate.
These are great meals and easy to do on the trail. The next morning we woke up to the remnants of overnight rain. It was also a little bit cooler. We were all looking forward to a warm breakfast. After breakfast, it was time to make our way on out of Hurricane Creek and head towards the Buzzards Roost. The scenery up to Buzzards Roost is really nice.
Well, that's what I said it was.
You pass a lot of old mountain cabins, and of course Buzzards Roost is an iconic stop if you're in this area. There are also some amazing stream crossings in this area. This was one of our favorites and probably one of the highlights of the whole week. Buzzards Roost is a very picturesque location overlooking I-40 and the Pigeon River, just south of the North Carolina and Tennessee border. It's an unofficial overlook that gives you a bird's eye view of almost 1,000 feet above the river. After we left Buzzards Roost, we stumbled on another trail. What we would find out later is this is actually known as the Goat Trail. This was also one of our favorite trails of the week. One of the things that made it really unique was the soft areas was actually hardened with huge river stones. This trail was not super technical in nature at all, but there were places that you definitely had to pay attention. Once you get to the bottom of the Goat Trail, it turns into a nicely kept Forest Service road. We once again made our way onto Blacktop, and it wouldn't be long before we were going to be at the location of the s'more. This has been a really fun start to our 5-day adventure to the Smoky Mountain Overland Rally. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you stay tuned for next week's episode when we hang out at the s'more with some great friends. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, see ya.